Hey Chocoholics, welcome back. Hey, I know I did a video a while back about how my kitchen here is a commercial kitchen and what makes it a commercial kitchen. And for those that missed that, here's a refresher. What makes my kitchen a commercial kitchen is this. Wash, rinse, and sanitize sink. It's a 3-compartment sink. This is what every commercial kitchen needs to have in their kitchen to be classified as a commercial kitchen. And we've got a little hand sink over here too. That's really important. But this right here is what makes this room in the basement of my home a commercial kitchen. Wash, rinse, sanitize. This is how I use it. And I've got a sprayer and things here. Now there's a few things that are required for a 3-compartment sink that I didn't show you in the last video, and so let me show you what those things are now. A 3-compartment sink is plumbed differently than, say, a hand sink. A hand sink, we've got this P-trap here. This is because this is plumbed directly to the sewer, and we need this P-trap here that fills with water to keep all the stinky and volatile gases from the sewer coming back up into the house. However, a commercial sink does not require that. If you notice down here, there are no P-traps. Why is that the case? Well, a commercial sink needs to have a floor sink. And if you looked, I didn't have one here, but I have one in the other room. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. So if you were to go to any restaurant kitchen and look under their 3-compartment sink or their vegetable rinse sink or whatever, there would be in the floor what's called a floor sink. And it's usually a 8x8 little porcelain sunk into the ground, and the water pours into that. The pipes will come over and it'll pour into it. The pipes do not directly go into the ground. There is what is called an air gap there. This is required to keep these sinks from getting contaminated by a backup in the sewer. So, where is mine? Well, let me show you. Okay, I've turned on some water so that you can see what's going on in the next room. It doesn't matter which it pours into. All these 3 sinks are connected to the same pipe that leads into this next room. So, let's go see where this is draining. We'll go out here and around the corner into the furnace room of our house. And you can see that we've had a mop sink installed in our furnace room. Now this was required by the Department of Agriculture and Food. We needed to have a mop sink somewhere in the house. I didn't have it anywhere else to do it, and I wasn't about to go up and down the stairs with this dumb thing. So we put it in the best spot possible in the furnace room. And as you can see, the water that we've got running in the sinks back here is draining into this sink. And there is a gap, which is called an air gap, from the end of this pipe, this black pipe, to the sink. And this right here is leading to the sewer of our house. So if the sewer was to back up, it would have to fill up this entire sink and then overflow and flood our basement with this much water before it goes up and reaches and contaminates our 3-compartment sinks in there. So an air gap, every restaurant that has a 3-compartment sink or a rinse sink has an air gap. This is how we've achieved our air gap, and they approved it, and it works awesome. Now the brown you see is because this is where our sinks drain from when I'm doing dishes from doing chocolates, and so it's just kind of stained it. And no, I'm not about to wash out a mop sink because, you know, who does that anyway? So there you go. That is how our plumbing works for our 3-compartment sink. And that's how it should work if you are going to be doing the same thing as well. Now, I don't know what the requirements are for your state with the Department of Agriculture and Food, but I can tell you that this is how it is required to be here in the state of Utah. It wasn't really all that difficult to do, and if you look here, this room really isn't all that big. This is probably a, I don't know, 15 by 15 room, maybe. I'm not sure. I do know that the square footage of the original kitchen, which actually went through this wall, was 365 square feet, 360 square feet. So this room is half that, so, you know, you do the math. There are all sorts of different sizes of commercial kitchen sinks that, 3-compartment sinks that you can get that are on the market that will fit the space that you need. This one is a large one, sort of. It's not super large. I've seen bigger. But this one fit my space perfectly. And I chose a corner one because, well, I needed the space. I needed somewhere to put this sink, and I didn't have enough space to put one that's big that goes on one wall. So you can get them where they're a corner like this, and they'll fit in your space really well. And you can get some where they're larger. I think this is like a 15 by 15 inch sink inside, 15 here, 15 here. This one works perfectly. So if you want to do a commercial kitchen in your house, it is totally possible. I did it. In fact, the Department of Agriculture and Food inspector told me that, hey, if you don't want to worry about the cottage food laws, you can just get yourself a 3-compartment sink and be classified as a commercial food kitchen. And I went, what? Really? And so I spent a little extra money and had it done. And man, my sales, most of my sales were out of my state. Let's put it that way. I would not have been able to keep this kitchen going as long as I had if it had just been a cottage food thing. So understanding that cottage food laws are different from state to state, but ours limited that I couldn't sell outside of the state of Utah. So, and I wanted to. So having a commercial kitchen made that possible for me, and it can be possible for you. So that is how it works here in Aroma Chocolate's kitchen down in the basement of my house. I hope you liked the video, folks, and I hope you learned something today. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you have a sweet day.